Today I have a real story for you about my childhood and watching television. Yes, it was very different, but you're still going to learn a lot of words and phrases in context. Welcome to English Coach 3Ts. I'm Tanya. Without totally giving away my age, not that I care, I'm 57, but a lot of women don't like to give away their age. I grew up in a time when television was pretty different than the way it is today. My mother was a single mom, and at the time, a lot of families had color television, but we had a black and white TV. To be honest with you, we didn't really think about it that much until we became teenagers. Our television was smaller than everyone else's television, and it had a channel changer on the television where you had to turn the channel changer and it would go ka-chung, 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 ka-chung. And I love to tell this story to my kids because, of course, they've never seen a television like this one. A lot of times people will say, growing up, we didn't have a channel changer, or you would call it a remote control, something you could hold up and push the buttons and it would change the channel on the TV. But our family's great joke, it really wasn't that funny, but everybody thought it was very funny, was that we have a channel changer. It's Tanya, or it's my younger brother, Joe. What they meant is, when they wanted the channel changed, they'd just say, "Hey, Tanya, get up and change the channel." Did you know that I'm hosting a free webinar class for women with an intermediate to advanced level of English? It's called 3 Secrets to Becoming Fluent Without Wasting Time and Without Doing Things That Don't Work. For more information and to join the webinar, click on the link in the description. Speaking of channels, the other really different thing is, as a young child, we had 3 channels. Yes, just 3 channels. And on those 3 channels, we had shows that aired at a certain time. When you say that a show airs at a certain time, it means that's when the show starts. That's when it comes on to the television. Nowadays, you can see pretty much anything at any time whenever you want. But at that time, we typically had certain shows that we liked and shows that we watched as a family because we had one television and everybody watched it at the same time. Also, we did not watch nearly as much television as people do today. And that's still really true for me, mostly because of something that happened a little later in my life, which I'll tell you in just a second. So as time went by, other people got a VHS, which was a video player for their television. Of course, we didn't have one of these, but I got to see them at other people's houses. And then when I was about 16, in fact, I think for my 16th birthday, I was living with my aunt and uncle at the time, and they let me invite my friends over for a birthday party to see a video movie in our living room. And the reason I'm saying it like this is that was a big deal. I felt like this was an extremely exciting thing to do for my birthday party, and I was so excited to invite my friends over. I remember that we watched the movie The World According to Garp, and I don't remember much about the movie as much as I remember having my friends over. But the other thing I always remember is that none of us there were allowed to touch the video player. Now, we were 16 or 17 years old, and the reason I say this is because only a few years later, video recorders were so common, everybody had one, and your 2-year-old knew how to put on a movie. But at this time, it was something new, and we had to wait for a grown-up to come put the movie on for us. Nonetheless, we had a great time. When I moved out of the house and got my own television, I bought a very small black and white television. At that time, you could still choose a black and white or color television, and the black and white televisions were much cheaper. One of the things I haven't mentioned so far is that the televisions were also huge. Not like huge screens, but huge as far as big in size, more like a box. And then when I was in college, or maybe a little later, probably a little later than that, they came out with a flat screen television. Another thing that I didn't have. But it wasn't really a big deal for me. Having any television felt like a great thing. And like I said, there was a time, specifically when I was in college, that I learned how valuable it was to me to do other things. A friend of mine had gone to Italy. I was studying architecture at the same time, and he was as well. And he went to Italy to study architecture. And when he came back, he talked about how the students there had spent a lot more time reading one book together and talking about it and spending time out on the patio, what we would call a patio, and how much he gained from this experience. And I remember deciding at that time, I don't want to spend time watching someone else's life on television all the time. I want to live my own life. Now, that doesn't mean I never watch television. I do, and I watch YouTube, and I watch Instagram. But I learned a long time ago to try and have balance. And I have to say, with computers, it has gotten a lot more difficult. If you like learning English with real stories like this one, be sure to give us a thumbs up and share this video with a friend who wants to be fluent. Today, when people come into my house, or if we're talking about television and they find out I don't have a TV, they're very surprised. Because in the United States, everybody has a TV, and most people these days have several televisions, usually one in every room, including the kitchen. Just because I don't have a TV, like I said, I do watch television. I just watch it on my laptop, and that helps me to remember to keep it in balance. I'm curious if you have a television and if you have more than one television in your house. Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to tell me what it's like in your culture as far as televisions go. Don't get me wrong, there have been times in my life when I did have a nice television and a remote control, which we also call a clicker. Sometimes we say, give me the clicker. I think because they used to kind of make a little bit of a clicking sound. But overall, I haven't had what most Americans have. Now that I've been talking about this, it's bringing to mind other stories I have about televisions. Bringing to mind meaning I'm starting to remember other stories. So I'll be sure to put those on the list, and you keep watching to see them soon. If you're ready to watch another real story, check out this video. Or if you'd like to see one of our live videos, give this one a try, and I'll see you there. Bye.